What's going on, family? This your boy Flaw 700, half of the podcast brothers. Before we get into this week's episode, I'd like to take this time to let you know where you can find our material at thepodcastbrothers.com. From there, you can subscribe to iTunes. iTunes is very important. Make sure after you listen to our episodes, leave us a review. That's the most important part. Share it with your friends and family. Or if you're an Android user, you can just listen to the episodes straight from the podcastbrothers.com website. You can download the episodes, whatever you want to do. To contact us directly, hit us up at mybroandmepodcast@gmail.com. And now on to this week's episode.
We're brothers, we're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
UNB, we're gonna drop Hillary.
This is who the people want to be president. Donald Trump is what Americans love.
Trump gives me real hope and change, not fake hope and change.
Donald is not a racist.
He's running for the right reason. He's putting his own money and all that. That's it.
We finally have an outsider who's going to say enough is enough.
Donald Trump, man. Hey, man, everything he's saying is crazy, but everything he's saying is correct.
Donald Trump is the ultimate game changer.
Democrats care about the inner city when it's election time. After election time, what do you get? Zero.
Vote for Trump.
For 54 years, we have been voting for the Democratic Party like no other race in America. And they have not given us the same loyalty and love that we have given them.
I'm backing Trump all the way.
Make America great again.
And this is going to be our next president of these United States.
Yo, this your boy Flaw 700. No Fresco today. He'll be back next week. But I'm not alone. I got a guest. Childhood friend of mine, Joseph McKinney. Say what's up to the people, man.
What's going on, Brother Rel? Thanks for having me, man.
Definitely nice to have you, man. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Appreciate you coming through. If you heard the intro, that was Blacks for Trump. We definitely going to touch on that later on in this episode. So just keep that in mind, what you heard. But first, I want to get into my podcast shout-outs. I definitely want to shout out to Kenya Talks. She showed us wild love on her show. Salute to you. Appreciate all the nice things you said about us. The John Effect also showed us love on the tweets. Shout out to him. You know, we received podcast of the week the other week, not last week, but the week before from the Official Street Podcast. Salute to those brothers. Shout out to the Podcast Queens, Real and Raw Podcast, The Critical Dump, Pepper and the Salt Shaker Podcast, Something to Brag About, Good Morning Beautiful Podcast, Grime Lords, Three Dope Chicks, We Got the Jazz, Baby Boy Podcast, and Waking Up Podcast. Now, I know that's a lot of podcasts, but you can find podcasts, my fault. You can find all of those podcasts on iTunes and SoundCloud. Make sure you subscribe. What's going on, Joe? Appreciate the Ciroc you brought through. Pineapple. With that, matter of fact, with that bottle.
Yeah, a little holy water for the show, you know?
Yeah, need that. Pineapple. Hold up. Pour me another cup right now. It's a cup, but I take shots. Woo!
Yeah, we need a little shout out attention that this election is causing, you know.
This election is crazy, ain't it?
Indeed, bro.
Yo,
indeed.
I had a taste of my first internet bullying this week. Like, you know how these celebrities be like, mad while people be coming at them sideways in the comments. I made a video about the Golden State Warriors based on, game one that they lost. But I'm looking at them like, yo, I don't know if this team's going to work. I don't know. I know it's only one game.
A lot of talent, man. Loaded.
But this dude wrote under the comments and said, whoever made this post is mentally challenged. Son, I was hot. I was heated. But it's like, there's nothing I can do. That was the first time I think somebody came at me sideways on social media. Like, normally when you on Facebook or Twitter, you with your friends. So people will, if they don't agree with what you wrote or posted, they'll interact with you, but they ain't going to disrespect you.
Yeah, man. You see a lot of wild stuff on there, man. Like, it's practically free speech at its best on Facebook, man. Any type of social media. So what you got to realize is those people are nowhere near you. What they say and think don't affect your real life, even though it can be bothersome. And sometimes we lose it on them sometimes, man, because some things you see is just like way, way left, man.
Right. Like, I'm like, dog, For a few seconds, I'm sitting there like, oh, whoa, who you talking to? But I don't know who this dude is. I ain't gonna never see him in my life. But I was tripping, man.
So it leaves you to think, how do you even come up with that assessment of me, man? Some people are just miserable, man. They go in there just for sheer entertainment. Some of them is just their personality on social media. They might be a regular person in real life. They got that type of personality just for social media. So take it with a grain of salt, man.
I hate fantasy football. Let me tell you what happened to me before I came here to do this show. We're doing this show late. It's like 5 p.m., a little bit after 5. It's close to 5:30. My squad is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Don't worry, ladies. I'm not going to go too deep into sports. My female fans don't like sports. I'm not going to go too deep into sports, but bear with me. My team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we playing the Oakland Raiders, right? Now, I'm playing fantasy football, and I'm looking at Crabtree. He's the wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders, and he's giving me like 5 fantasy points, and I'm hot. I'm like, come on, Crabtree, you got to give me something. I need 100 yards from you, at least 3 touchdowns, but I want Tampa Bay to win.
Right.
But they go into overtime, right? Now, here's where I got too excited. They go into overtime. Carr, who's the quarterback, throws a long pass to Crabtree. He breaks the tackle, and he's getting yards. I'm like, go, Crabtree, go. But at the same time, I got to remember, this is overtime. First team that score wins. So my team's in jeopardy of losing because I need these fantasy points from the wide receiver that he's throwing it to. I like it was crazy.
It's a double-edged sword, man.
It is, because I need Tampa Bay to win, but I need Crabtree to get these yards.
All fantasy players have been there, man. Trust me.
Yeah.
There's times I put players in against my own team, man. Like hoping this dude does well against us, but we still pull out the victory, man.
That's all you want. I want you to give me 100 yards, a few touchdowns, but I need your team to lose. That's all I want. Yo, let's get into the Mount Rushmore of New York. Now, I gave you this list, right? Mount Rushmore of New York. I didn't make this, so you can make your own Mount Rushmore if you want. But the picture showed Nas, Jay-Z, and Biggie, but you got to pick the 4th head. You want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You can do the honors.
I'll do the honors. If I had to put a 4th MC on that list, I got to go with LL Cool J.
Ooh.
LL Cool J.
You're going to take some slack for that, bro.
Really?
I think so, man.
LL Cool J. I personally think if you have a Mount Rushmore, LL Cool J needs to be on that somewhere. You could take Nas, Biggie, and Jay off. You could have KRS-One, Rakim, and all these other dope legends. I think LL Cool J needs to be one of the 4 every time. He's won like every battle. Platinum. Had the first song, slow melody song dedicated to girls. Everybody was rapping hard.
He did it for the ladies.
But he still came back hard. He kept coming back, reinventing his career. So I got to go with LL Cool J, man.
Battled through with Cannabis.
Yo, who would have thought he would be Cannabis? When you used to hear Cannabis freestyles and on the mixtapes, you knew Cannabis, like, yo, can't nobody mess with Cannabis. Why is LL messing with Cannabis? But then he came back and he splashed him. Didn't
even spare him.
And you haven't heard from Cannabis since. Cannabis has been.
I think he joined the military or something, man.
Cannabis? Really?
For a little bit. I don't know where he at now. But I was a big Cannabis fan and a true believer in
We all was. I remember walking downtown to get his tape. Cannabis, it was trash.
Mm-hmm.
Cannabis tape was trash. But I went downtown to get it because I was a huge fan because of the mixtape and the DJ Clues he was on. And listening to him spit, I thought nobody could touch this guy.
I think his downfall was getting down with the wrong producers, man.
Wyclef in him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have never messed with Wyclef. I don't know if Wyclef was ever known as a producer. Like, he's one of them dudes that can make like a single hit.
Right.
Like the Destiny's Child remix.
He sell records over time.
Yeah. But as far as him, Wyclef executive produced my entire record. I think that was the big mistake, though. But LL smashed him. So if I got to go Mount Rushmore, so my Mount Rushmore for New York is Nas, Biggie, Jay-Z, LL Cool J. And keep in mind, the picture that I'm going off of, Nas, Biggie, and Jay-Z were already on there. You just had to fill in the 4th slot. So, Joe, who you got as your 4th guy?
I know maybe a lot of people probably won't agree with this pick. I'm going to have to go with AZ, man.
Yeah.
I think AZ is a hell of an artist, man. Got a nice flow, kick some real shit, you know what I mean? Not a lot of bullshit. So I'm going to say him. I know it's a lot of others that could have been picked, But true shout out to AZ, man.
But the crazy
Real
thing
deal.
is, AZ is one of my favorite MCs. Like he's one
Mine
of my
too,
favorites.
yeah.
And LL is not. But I just had to go with who's done more. Like AZ has been held back, I think, whether it's record label or whether it's Nas not really helping him out like he should have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like AZ is dope. But as far as who like just did it big, who battled, who did it for the ladies, like I said, I got to go with LL, and he's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, I would,
AZ is. That's
if
crazy.
you're going by longevity and career accomplishments, you definitely got to go with LL.
Yeah, but
But just from a hip hop standpoint, I'm gonna say AZ, man.
I'm personally not mad
Pieces
at
of
AZ.
a Man.
Oh wow, Pieces of a Man. I think it's Pieces of a Black Man, but it's Pieces of a Man. Y'all got to go check that out. It came out in 1998. We old heads. We graduated from high school years
Don't call
ago.
us old heads, man.
We old heads, man. Our graduation class is about to be like 20 years, right?
Oh man,
my bad if I'm telling my
few more
age.
years.
A few more years. But like I said, LL Cool J. You make your own New York Mount Rushmore. We got ours. I'm putting LL on mine. Joe putting AZ on his. Let me know who you got.
I just can't wait till the people hear this and see who they actually chose.
Yeah, I think
you're gonna see some interesting things.
I think you is. What's the weirdest pick you think anybody can pick? Like if somebody was to pick, like if somebody told you, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like another artist that you can actually say. You be like, dog, are you kidding me? Because it's only New York. It has to be New York.
I mean, does Fab deserve to be mentioned?
I was thinking about Fab. Fab was the first person I thought about when I came up, when I saw this meme. Damn, Fab. People gonna pick Fab. But I'm like, nah, it's got to be LL for me. So if people pick Fab, would that disturb you any? Like
Not
Fab?
at all, not at all.
So
but he's still going, man. He's still going.
Yeah. All right.
LL is a true legend, without a doubt.
LL? Yeah. And AZ is one of my favorites. I ain't gonna lie. AZ is one of my favorites. I can't put him over Nas, but AZ is definitely one of my favorites, man.
Yeah, the best record sales don't necessarily mean a better artist, just that the crowd they cater to or whatever. So
yeah. You definitely ain't going off record sales. LL is platinum, though.
Exactly.
LL's a platinum artist because he was given that platform. But this ain't about, going platinum, but LL took advantage of the situations that he had.
Exactly.
To me.
He worked for it, though. He definitely worked.
He did. Also, earlier this week, Kevin Gates was sentenced to 880 days in jail for kicking a fan, a former fan now, last year at a Florida show. But we don't. Good. It's not good. But we aren't supposed to hit women, right? Like, what is he doing? And I think he pleaded not guilty to this charge, and he had an excuse of he asked her not to grab him anymore, so he kicked her. Isn't that when you go get security or something, though?
I would say so. I haven't really read up on the case or anything or what actually happened. Before what I hear is she apparently grabbed his manhood, grabbed the Johnson, the hammer, to put it politely, So, but that's where the double standard comes in. Like if it's a man that does that to a woman and she kicks him, we're all cool with that, right? Not to say that he was right in what he did. He was definitely wrong, but the man said he was being groped, And that the climate in this country right now with groping, Mr. Trump came out, grabbed him by the you-know-what. And we got things like this going on. The only thing is just the male is happening to. So I'm not saying he was right. Definitely want to hit the females, but hey.
Yeah, I'm definitely but where was security? Like you had security there, or he could have backed up at least. You feel what I'm saying?
He definitely had other options.
Yeah, he had so many options, but to actually kick the female, I'm not a fan of Kevin Gates, but I'm not being, you know what I mean? Like I'm not picking on him because I'm not a fan of his. I don't like his music. I don't really think he's done anything dope to me personally. I know some Kevin Gates fans out there that probably listen to this podcast. Don't kill me for it, but I'm not a Kevin Gates fan. I'm about to call him Bill Gates. I'm not a Kevin Gates fan. But he's about to do, what's that, 6 months? 180 days?
180 days, yeah.
He's about to do 6 months in jail for kicking a fan. Is that too much, though? Like, did they give him too much?
I'm not really sure what the crime was he was charged with, or what the sentence carries for what he did,
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll probably be out sooner than that with good behavior.
Good behavior.
And all that. But what you got to remember, once you get that platform, you're in the public eye, it's going to be people that say things to you, do all types of things to you. You got to learn to be bigger and better than that, because your opportunity is so big here, you can't afford to mess it up. Now, because you made a foolish decision, you spending 180 days in jail that you're away from your family. You're not on the road making money. Was it really worth it, you know? Like you said, man, have security there, you know?
Word.
Let them handle that so, you know, you won't get yourself involved in that. No one wants to be disrespected. I think that's it boils down to. He felt he was being disrespected.
Right.
So he handled it in a manner that I'm sure now he regrets, you know?
Right. Does he regret?
I hope he does.
I think Kevin Gates is real strong in his opinion. Like, what he believes in, he believes in. And I think he'd do it again. Because I think he thinks he's actually standing up for what he believes in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really think he'd do it again.
It's not wrong standing up for what you believe in, but you know, like, when you do certain things, there's going to be some consequences.
That's a fact.
Not to mention, I mean, he got 180 days, but I'm sure it's a civil suit that's going to follow this as well. So she's going to hit him in the pocket a little bit.
Well, I'm surprised that this wasn't about the money. You know what I'm saying? Like I just would have hit him with the civil suit off top, right? And just forgot about the other stuff. I mean, surprised he's doing jail time, but like I said, he actually fought it because he actually thought he was in the right. But at the end of the day, bro, you don't hit women. It's a double standard. We got our advantages. Women have their advantages. You cannot hit a female. I don't know what today's society is thinking, but he was wrong for that alone. You understand what I'm saying?
Smartphones and cameras everywhere.
Now, Trick Daddy was also a trending topic this week.
Trick Daddy.
And basically what Trick Daddy was saying is black hoes need to tighten up because these Spanish and white hoes are getting finer. You black hoes are getting your breasts done, butt done, and spending $150 on makeup just to go to the club. Wow. Now, here's my question, though. Is it the right message, wrong messenger? Right message, right messenger? Or what? Like, what's going on? Does he make any sense in this? Or is Trick Daddy just living in his Florida bubble where he's just surrounded by hood rats?
I'm going to have to say I don't agree with Trick Daddy saying that. I don't know what type of women he's hanging around. But maybe he could use a change of scenery because I see plenty of black women all the time, and I don't see them with fake asses and things of that nature.
Right.
So I think he needs to change the women that he's hanging around. And secondly, one thing I hate to do is group people all together and paint people with a broad brush. You know what I mean?
Right.
Look at everybody as an individual. Stop looking at one person and feeling like they represent a whole class, race, or anything of people, because it's just an ignorant. To me, it's an ignorant point of view to live through. You know.
Yeah.
And I think with doing so, you're gonna miss out on some very good people by thinking the way he does. I think it's pure foolishness, man.
But here's my thing, right? If Trick Daddy was to find that black woman that he's looking for, what could he offer her? Who is Trick Daddy today? Like, who was Trick Daddy ever?
Yeah, that's a good point, man. He's probably attracting the type of women that
like
follow his type of lifestyle.
Right, like he needs to get out of the environment that he's in, because there's a lot of black doctors, a lot of black lawyers, judges. It's a lot of black CEOs, like females. Like, it's a lot of women out here doing big things. But I'm pretty sure they're not interested in Trick Daddy. So he's making his rant about you black first. Like, first off, he like, you black hoes. Like, bro,
disrespectful.
Like, yeah, it's like listen to what he talk. Like, who, you're not even talking to the black women that's successful because they're not even listening to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then at the end of the day, my question still stands. If you were to find you a black woman who had it all put together, Trick Daddy, what could you offer her?
Probably not much, man.
Not much at all.
Not much on an intellectual level if he's speaking that way.
Right.
That's for sure.
Right.
So maybe he needs to look inside himself and see, what am I doing wrong? Why do I keep attracting these types of women?
That's a fact.
Because I'm pretty sure Trick Daddy came from humble beginnings. And the women that he were around at that time did not have fake asses because they could not afford them. So he can miss me with all that.
Yeah. So
and then you know what it is? I think a lot of these people, man, they been relevant for so long, or on the underground side of things, they just say something to get people talking.
Right. Get his name back in the buzz. It's like, oh, people talking about me. But I don't see where the money comes in from that. Like, people talking about you. But don't nobody want to hear that I'm a thug joint no more. I was like 20 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of feminists that are going to be definitely checking him.
Who?
A lot of feminists. They will be on his heels.
Yeah, man. I don't get it. If my bro was here, I'm pretty sure he'd be to dig a hole right now, because Trick Daddy is trash. Like, I don't really understand what would make him come out and actually, like, just talk like, Like, at the end of the day, it's a self-hate thing to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying, like, as a black man, I personally think we should never talk down or talk bad about black women.
Right.
But these things have to be taught. They have to be told. Like, you probably don't get it naturally, but you have to be told, like, listen, don't ever disrespect the black woman.
Don't disrespect women in general.
Don't disrespect women in general at all. I get you. But, bruh, don't you ever disrespect the black. Something that we've done, but we all had to learn.
We
you
have
know what
grown.
I'm saying?
We have grown.
We got it grown. But how old is Trick Daddy? Like, Trick Daddy is like, okay, bruh. How many
much
times
stuck in his ways.
How many times have you been on your deathbed? How many prescription drugs and syrup and Viagra's and everything you taking? Like, look at all the stuff that you're on, but yet you worried about natural black women.
Yeah, I think that's probably blocking his progress. Just a little bit, man.
Trick Daddy's a fool for it, man. Like I said, if my bro Fresco was here, he definitely
they gonna
dig a
roast.
hole.
The internet definitely gonna roast him, man.
Yeah,
as they should.
Woo! I sent you that link on the 50 Cent thing, right? 50 Cent and his son.
Yeah,
Marquise.
man, down and dirty, man.
But I wanted to touch on it because I've heard other people say that all 50 Cent does is take pictures of his new son, post them on Instagram. His new son has, a certain grade of hair and it's a certain grade of light skin, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of making it as, okay, his first son, Marquise, is like his, dark skinned and, he's kind of not shining light on his son. What people need to remember though is 50 Cent's son was in the Wankster video, I believe. He was there. He was there in the beginning, and he was like the kid for the G Unit clothing. He was there. Somewhere down the line, something went wrong, and I've seen 50 Cent right on Instagram with a gun emoji talking about something. I'm gonna take you off my wheel, and he posted the gun emoji on some. I'm going to shoot my son.
That's deep.
It's deep, but we know 50 Cent is crazy. But I just want to dig a little deeper into it. You understand what I'm saying? Because no man wants to be disrespected by his son.
Right.
No man wants to be disrespected, period, let alone by your son. To me personally, this is just my guess. I forgot the name of the song G Unit did. Every hood we go through, all the gangsters around, know my whole crew. It was that joint, and 50 Cent was like, after the VMAs, my baby mama cussed. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. This is only my guess. When 50 Cent got shot because of the movie, his girlfriend took care of him. He blew up and he left her behind. And since then, she's been a bitter woman, and she's turned their son against Curtis. But what I was reading in the article was before 50 Cent, before the son was here, before Marquise was born, he basically got his name tatted on him and used Marquise as motivation to be successful.
Yeah.
There's pictures, like I said, there's videos with Marquise in there. But somewhere down the line, Marquise, who's 50 Cent's son, so he's got a little bit of crazy in him too.
Sure he does.
He's got a little bit of crazy in him too. So this, to me, this ain't 100% on 50 because Marquise is your son too. He's just like you, Pops. He's just like you, 50.
Chip off the old block.
Chip off the old block. Now, what 50 Cent said was, my father wasn't around, and this gives me the perfect opportunity to be a father to my child, right? Now, when the son disrespects you, I'm just trying to figure it out though, because if your son was 15, 16 and he disrespects his pops, how would you handle that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm gonna address the first part where you're saying like what people were saying because the first son is dark and the other son has like a finer grade of hair. He's always taking picture of him.
Yeah.
I think you gotta take into account also the age in which he was when he had the first child. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
For a man to have a child that young as opposed to when he has one older, he's a totally different person than he was at the time. As you said, he was he was working hard. He was trying to get on. He was trying to blow up. And with that, you spending a lot of time away from home. So I think maybe in the beginning, he had a good, at least a decent relationship with the woman and the son as well. But with the amount of time he was on the road, he probably got caught up, in running around, chasing the skirts and things of that nature, and he wasn't there for his son as he should have been. So maybe the son's hurt from that, and now the way he's talking to his father, or he feels that his father wasn't there. So he got a little chip on his shoulder, and 50 got a chip on his shoulder because he feeling like, man, this is my seed. This the little boy I held as a little baby,
Yeah, right.
and now he's talking to me in this manner. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
I think that's part of the issue with the woman. You know, it's obviously they had some a lot of bitterness. However, that ended. You know, the one time where the house they stayed in got burnt down.
Right.
50 was mad because she had a living boyfriend. And I guess he wasn't working. He feeling like, okay, I'm paying her this child support, but it's supporting other things as well. As we all know, 50 can be a little emotional. Straight up, just to be real about it.
He's a cancer.
Yeah, he's a cancer. Now he's feeling like, wow, so now my son's disrespecting me. I disown him,
Yeah.
because the son shouldn't ever get towards the father. But I think he needs to maybe look at some of the wrongs he did by not being around. Like, it was you were financially supporting your son, yeah, but it's not about the money. It's more about you being around, doing things with him. You know what I mean? They say he missed his graduation and things of that nature. Don't do things in spite of the mother, and the mother shouldn't be doing things in spite of the dad either. You know what I mean? I'm sure she probably put a few bugs
now
in the child's ear
right.
as well.
Now, 50 said he didn't get an invitation to the graduation. The mother said you don't need an invitation to your son's graduation.
Nah, you're the guardian. You can call the school.
Okay, all right.
I would agree with that.
But just so you agree with the mother.
Yeah, he could have called down there if he really wanted to be there. Because I tell you what, if my son graduates, I'm going to be there. Ain't nobody going to tell you. He said I can't go. Guess what? I'm there. If I got to hop the fence or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Catch me on the nightly news.
Right,
I'm getting in the building.
My son just graduated from middle school. Like I'm saying, and that was an emotional moment for me. Like I couldn't imagine me missing that. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, so my thing is with this. Just because 50 is a fool on social media, don't mean he ain't crying in the background. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, he's obviously hurt.
You can't convince me that this ain't a sign of hurt. So my thing is, if you don't know how to love, is this what you get from a person who's kind of like unstable? 50's father wasn't around. His mother was murdered. So there's nobody showing this man how to love. So in 50 Cent's mind, he's like, listen, I've given you over $1 million.
Right.
This is like, I'm grinding for you. You motivated me to be this great. And son, I'm giving you all of this. But yet when your mother tells you I'm no good because I don't want to be with her. Because from what we read, because I sent you the article that I read, the mother, like I said, took care of him after he got shot. And she was like, okay, we on now. We got this $1 million deal from Aftermath Shady Records. We on. I ain't got to work. I ain't got to do nothing. The house that allegedly was burnt down. But how would you take that though? Like, you living with a man who ain't working, who's allegedly the father to my son, right? Well, the stepdad to my son. Excuse me. You are not working. He's not working. Would you provide for, like, would you have to? Well,
yeah, by law, I mean, you get a
they weren't married. So all he has to do is pay child support. But should he put the roof over another man's head? I really think it was I really think they was like egging him on. I really think so. Cause she went and got a dude that wasn't working. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, she knew how to press.
She's not working. She didn't even start no business. Like, where's your business? If 50 Cent has given you over $1 million in child support, there's no business out of this?
Yeah, sometimes, man, the child support thing is like a little overblown. If he's around there taking care of his child, man, handling things as a man, then, maybe they should work something out with the child support system where you don't got to, go down there and have someone tell you how much money you got to pay to actually take care of your child. But like from what I read, it's saying like it was times where it was like years we didn't see the boy. And he was running hard, man, all across the country and the world tours and things like that. And I'm sure it was times that he didn't see his maybe son for an extended period of time. So that's all relevant, It's all good when a child don't quite understand everything, but you gotta understand every child is gonna grow up to be a grown up.
Right.
And once that happens, they're gonna formulate their own opinions about what happened. And I think it's just a bitterness between all of them, and hopefully they can find some peace, man. Because there's no way a father should be on social media, especially talking to almost threatening the life of his son. That's just a bit much.
That's crazy. That part
some things should be kept in house.
I cannot take up for him for that. No. And then they showed the scene of, because I didn't, maybe I did, because the episode on Power where Kanan kills his son.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, oh man,
very relevant.
But now I sit back and think, but 50 had nothing to do with the writing. They said he had nothing to do with the writing. But it was just so real because it's like, okay, so you not my son. It's easy
But
to tell your son.
Sometimes the producers, they play off the real life scenarios to get like
they know
a higher emotion out of the actors.
And they're like, okay, so you're not my son no more. You ghost son. So he smokes him. He kills him with no emotion.
Yeah.
And if you actually watch season 3, I think he got close to Ghost Son.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like he wants. This is what I'm saying. Even though 50 Cent and his son is beefing on social media, he wants that bond with a child. And I think that's why he has that bond with the new child that he has.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Not only is he young and he's a baby, a baby is the purest thing in the galaxy.
Right. All
they do is laugh and smile and they cry, but it's all pure. You know, when you're dealing with a baby or an infant, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, it is the purest thing you can ever deal with. They don't know how to, you feel what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, they don't know how to be deceitful.
They don't know how to deceive you. So the love he's showing to his new son it's like he needs that. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have a girlfriend. His son to him disowned him. The only love he's ever known is from his new son. You see what I'm saying?
I think the reason why he's so upset, with the older son rather, is that he seeks some peace with him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he may be wanting truth, but he's not going to be the one to reach out to do it. You know what I mean? He's like, man, like you said, I'll give you all this money. I want you to be, you know what I mean, grateful. Just you being ungrateful. You know what I mean? You're an ungrateful child.
He said something. He was just like, yeah, I'll talk to him to see what he says.
Yeah.
But 50, you the dad. You got to go out and reach out to this young man. I think there was one point in the article where the son wanted a specific car for his 16th birthday.
He wanted Ferrari or something.
And 50 said, I'll get you a car, but it's one you're going to have to work for. So to me, what 50 was trying to do was install.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Some hard work in him.
I think what he said he won't give him a Ferrari, but he'll give him a car. He said, if you want a Ferrari, you got to work for that, whatever. It's fine. Like, he doesn't. To be a good father, that me buying you a Ferrari is not going to make me a good father.
Right.
Me placing you in a car that's safe and reliable, that makes me a good father. So,
right.
I agree with on that point. Make these kids earn some things, There's nothing wrong with that.
And I think that he's trying to install tough love in his son. He wants his son to respect him. I am not giving the green light or saying that I'm okay with 50 Cent and what he's doing on social media. Yeah. But what I'm saying is I'm trying to see 50 Cent's side. Once again, no man wants to be disrespected by his son, especially if I'm paying for the school. Like, okay, for example, the school that, he didn't attend the graduation, but who pays for the school? I'm not saying that it's right, but in 50 Cent's eyes, okay, send me an invite. I mean, I'm paying for you to go to these good schools. You be in the projects right now.
It's kind of hard to believe. It's kind of hard to believe that if he's in constant communication with his son, he didn't know when his son was graduating.
He know.
You know
everybody graduates the same time of the year. If you know how old your son is, you know when graduation. It
seems like maybe it's just more geared towards the mother than the son. Yeah. And because the son, is close to the mother, I think it bothers him, and he feels like the son should maybe be more loyal to him.
You know what? You got a point there. And our whole thing is that just maybe 50 Cent, a.k.a. Curtis Jackson, just does not know how to express that love. Like, for the first time in his life, he has to drop that shield that's wrapped around his body and go drop a tear to his son. I don't think he knows how to do that. I don't think he wants to do that. You see what I'm saying? It's like, since we've known him or known of him, he's been this super thug.
Yeah.
And he don't want to let nobody close to him or his heart. But it's easy to let your 1-year-old, your 2-year-old, your 3-year-old, however old this new son is, close to your heart because he will not betray you. He's too young to do that.
Yeah. I think if he feels that he's being respected, or what he's done for his son, that he feels his son now accepts what he's done for him and respects him, I think at that point then he can do it. But his ego is just too big, man. Everybody know 50 got the big old ego, man.
Is it an ego or
at the end of the day, he should, that's his son. No matter what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't wait for something tragic to happen.
Right.
And then go back and say,
right. Like what if something happened to Marquise?
Yeah.
Are you going to the hospital? Or are you going to the funeral? Like, you can't miss these things. And it's crazy because I have a 15-year-old, a son. Isn't it like the mom and the daughter normally clash and the father and the son clash? Isn't that like just how it works though in the world? Like that's just how it is. So basically, him and his father clashing is just like natural things happen because Marquise is now a man. He's like 18.
He's now become more conscious of everything.
Right, like he's a man now. You feel what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we all know how a man, well, a son and a mother are.
I think maybe he just want answers from his father. Like, where were you at, man? You know what I mean? The money was cool and all, but damn.
But that's what I want to know. Because when 50 first, but here's the thing though. When 50 first got on, because the mother thought she was going with him to the top, she allowed him to be in these videos and these cameos. Once the mother realized that 50 Cent was not with her, that's when the divide happened. I don't think the adults handled it right. And it's crazy because last episode we had DJ Iron Mike on and we talked about the benefits of parents working together to celebrate the birthday of their children. Now we're talking about the opposite. You see what I'm saying? It's like when the mother thought she was getting money, like when the mother thought, 50 was still with her, through his success, you saw the son. Once 50 cut her off because she believed 50 had something to do with the house being burned down.
Yeah, it was rumored.
It was rumored. We don't got no facts. They say 50 was making a movie when this happened. But she believes that he had it burnt down.
Yeah, because it was saying he wanted the guy out, right? That's what she claimed the cause was.
How would you feel about that, though? Regardless of how much money you had and you couldn't really be there because your job is to travel the world and you're paying for the mother, her boyfriend, and your son to live in a home where the guy who's not doing nothing for a living is basically the stepfather to your son who has to show your son how to be a man because you can't because you're not there.
I think anybody's male or female probably bother them to a certain degree, but
yeah,
if you're doing what you're supposed to do as far as like your court orders, paying your child support, I mean, according to the rules of the courts, they could use that. I guess they could use that money as they see fit, man. That person ain't gonna be single forever now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because you don't want them, don't mean somebody else ain't want
That's
them. But
a fact.
he was saying that it was like it ended because of infidelities on her part.
On her part or his?
On her part is what he was saying. Her part? That's what he was saying.
Nah, I remember when he got on, he started messing with Vivica.
Yeah.
Well, I think
at that point they may have been part at that point.
We don't know.
Because like he even said in the movie, they painted her in a different light in the movie. And he had to do that, or she wasn't going to allow him to make the movie to paint her in the light that he wanted to. So the only reason the movie was able to go because he said he had to paint her in that positive light.
Oh, so maybe she didn't help him back to. Yeah. So maybe she didn't nurse him back.
That's
to health.
50 claims, That's what he said.
Oh, 50 claims that.
Yeah.
Oh,
2 sides to every story.
It is 2 sides, and this is why I want to have this conversation, because for you out there who think 50 Cent just puts his light-skinned son on Instagram, I think he wants that love from his sons.
I don't think it has nothing to do with that.
I don't think it has nothing to do with the skin complexion. I just think that this son is innocent. Listen, I got a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 2-year-old. There is something about the 2-year-old that is so innocent that draws me to him. I love all 3 of my children. You understand what I'm saying? But it's something about the baby.
Just because they babies, that's all.
Where I'm like, yo, I can tell you anything. I can talk to you about anything. I can be as goofy. I can be anything that I want in the world, and you're just going to laugh and you're going to smile at me.
Plus, at that point in their life, they depend on you 100% for everything. You know what I mean? So
it's nothing like when
you
walk in that door.
Day.
It's nothing like when you walk in that door and the little one acknowledges you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's just a different energy. And like I say, I love my 15-year-old. I love my 13-year-old. I don't know how I would react because this is what I'm saying. First off, this Ciroc pineapple is delicious. It is delicious. Shout out to Joe for bringing it. At 18 is when I had my first kid. And at 18, I knew I had to change my life.
Right.
I sacrificed my life for them. If my son at 15 today disrespected me, I don't know how I would take that. I wouldn't threaten to shoot him.
Nah.
I wouldn't threaten to shoot him, but I wouldn't know how to take that because at the end of the day, I want respect 1,000%. Even though you don't know, as a son, what I've done to sacrifice.
But you know that the old lion, young lion thing is always laying in the bushes, man.
It's always there. And that's why
you know the day going to come and they're going to try a little bit, you know what I mean?
And that's why we get a little emotional. Because like, son, you don't know what I've done or what I'm doing or what I plan on doing for you.
Exactly.
You don't know what I've done. So 50 Cent is laying in the cut like, son, I've given you over $1 million. $1 million. Don't ever come at me sideways. Do you know who I am? I'm the provider. Your mother does not work.
Yeah, but
it's me.
For the kid, I don't think it's much about money to him, man. I think it's about, like, he had a dad that was an entertainer, and a lot of these kids who have parents that entertainers, even pro athletes, you know what I mean, or high profile people, they're not going to be around a lot. Even people who have military parents. So that's one of the things. Now, when he had his free time, was he coming around to see him? Was he saying he was going to come and didn't come? That type of thing. I don't know.
But did you read the part where he actually came through the house and the son didn't answer?
Oh, yeah.
So there
like
is
I said,
times
he's emotional, man. Too
where
emotional.
50 came through the crib. He was like, yo, what's up? You know, I'm here. Like, I ain't going to be in town for long. And he knocked on the door and the son turned the lights out or something. Didn't answer. Allegedly, we don't know.
If the kid was in there, but
we don't know. Maybe
the kid texted him back and said, "Hey, I'm here now," and he was like, "Fuck that, man! I'm going back to Atlanta, catch a plane." So,
yeah. So
I think he really is a little emotional about it, man. Everybody know how 50 could be sometimes.
Yeah.
Man.
So at the end of the day, like I said,
but that's your son, man. So.
That's your son. No man, but it's crazy because it's like, no man, no father wants to be disrespected by their son. But Curtis, that's your son.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I want, and this might be the Ciroc talking because I'm nice right now. Mm-hmm. I need y'all to piece that up. You feel me? That's your son. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
Curtis, you are too old to be running to social media to badmouth your child. Word. Stop it.
That's a fact. I don't think he did it at first, though. I think when you was reading it, if you read it like I read it, he was texting them, and they posted it. I think a lot of this stuff was like post text messages. You feel what I'm saying? Like he wasn't going on social media. But like I said, like, there's nothing wrong with. But you got some celebrities, right, who'll buy their kids that Bentley or that Maybach for their 16th birthday. And then if you 50 Cent and you don't buy it because you're like, yo, I think Fresh Montana might have said it. He said, nah, my son, I'm not spoiling my son. My son
there was nothing wrong with him not buying a Ferrari. That don't even make sense. If I got to buy you a Ferrari to be considered a good father, I guess I'm going to be a badass dad. Straight up. Because you ain't getting no goddamn Ferrari. My first car was a 1991 Ford Escort with the hatchback, man. Straight up.
That's a fact, man.
$450.
And they was beefing. And they was beef. Well, see, it's hard to call it beefing between a father and son. But they weren't getting along. But the son was like, yo, I want a Ferrari. Like, son, you ain't getting that. I don't know if he would have bought him that Ferrari, whether they was...
Nah, I don't think he should. I think from what I read, I think it was more from a principle standpoint. He's saying, okay, it's your birthday, whatever, I'll get you a car, no problem, but I'm not getting you a Ferrari. If you want a Ferrari, that's fine, but work a little bit for that.
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with that. Like I said,
somebody give you a free car. A free car is a free car. Take it.
Yeah,
it's gonna get you where you got to go. What you need a Ferrari for?
Yeah,
you know,
right at 16.
No need for that.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. Are we about to get off there? I think we spent enough time on that, man. But listen, like, just do your research on that. I mean, before you just go jumping out the window thinking like, oh, 50 Cent is a clown for only posting one son. I personally think he would love. And Marquise said he hasn't met his brother yet, you know, which is obvious. You know, we can tell, we can see why. But 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson is very childish in this situation.
Exactly.
But I think that the mother has influenced the son. And like I said, as a father, disrespect from the son will never be tolerated.
50 like 40, ain't he?
Yeah, he's 40.
Damn, bro. Come on.
40? I want to switch lanes right now. I want to talk about something when it comes to the education of the children. And I know you about that life, Joe. Slavery.
It's important.
Slavery.
Education, freedom.
Slavery, right? When, what age, and how should we teach our children about slavery? Because schools aren't teaching. Got me to thinking, when did we learn? Well, when did you learn? Did you learn in school, or was it somewhere else that you learned about slavery? Because I don't remember learning in school.
Nah, not in school. Probably at home. Very, very little. I mean, it had stuff about the slave trade in school, but it wasn't very descriptive of the real atrocities of it as a whole.
Okay.
You know, they touched on it briefly, you know, dates and things like that. But yeah, I mean, if you got kids, I mean, each parent is different. I guess there's no right or wrong way, but I would say you inform kids of the history as soon as possible, because you don't people got to understand how we came to this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? To want to do better.
Right.
Before you can ever know how to solve, something, you got to know what the problem is.
Right. It's crazy because I had my kids. We watched the 13. I don't know if it's the 13th or the 13th. My fault.
Yeah. 13th.
But it's on Netflix, and we watched it, and I watched it with my kids. Like, slavery in the old days is not on my mind. So maybe I might have dropped the ball on it, but I was talking to my kids one day. We at the dinner table. We like to have conversations while we're at the dinner table. And they just was like, they don't know nothing about slavery. I took that personally because I said maybe it was something that I did wrong. Maybe I should have been, but it's not on my mind. Nobody's thinking about slavery. Yeah. I'm thinking about how I'm going to, get better and we move forward. So I said, okay, we're going to have a family night. We're going to sit down. We're going to watch 13. Yeah. They watched it, and I understood what was going on. I don't think they understood. It's like, okay, like, wow, like, damn. Like, I don't really think that they really took it in. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe I brought this to them too late, or maybe the attention span of the children, they like, really? They treated us like that? It's kind of like too late to give it to them.
They don't have a full understanding of it, probably because they don't teach civics in school anymore,
right.
So they don't even understand these terms that be thrown out in this documentary unless you have some basic knowledge of civics.
Right.
And I think that may be one of the issues, that they have. But we can't just let this, count on the schools 100% to educate your children. You know what I mean? To get through, social issues and understand social issues, you need to be teaching, dumb things like that at home. But I think what's even more important to teach the kids than slavery is the ramifications after slavery. Because I think a lot of people think that, once slavery was over, everyone was free, and black people somehow went out and about, created these great lives, and lived and have every opportunity in the world to succeed. It was never any oppression. And a lot of Americans, do think that way.
Right.
But we need to, let them know exactly what happened. Tell them about, how the schools weren't equal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Tell them how, you pretty much considered a second-class citizen. Everything was that you got was pretty much, secondhand.
That's exactly why
the Jim Crow laws,
right.
The unfair laws when it came to drug laws that imprisoned a lot of people. So I think that's more important to teach. That way we can really understand what happened to our communities, how they got so decimated. Instead of just telling people, "Oh, slavery this, slavery that." Okay, that's cool, but it's it's much larger than that. You know what I mean? The concentrated effort by the government at that time to hold these people back, like it was like the only thing worse than not being free is the illusion of freedom to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's deep. That's a gem.
You sitting there telling somebody they free. All right, go ahead, you roaming, but now you free, but opportunity is so limited that you would consider reselling yourself as practically a slave just to get by, and that weighs heavy on a person's mental, man. We all been there, living check to check or whatever. It's a lot of people that still do, and it's rough, man.
That's exactly
it's mentally draining and exhausting.
Right. That was definitely a question I was going to ask too. Was like, well, what do you actually teach? Do you teach before slavery, how we was kings and queens and how we lived good, or did you teach the slavery, or do you teach after the slavery? Because there's 3 levels to this. Yeah. And I hear people all the time. Right. And I hear people all the time talk about how I'm tired of watching slave movies. I'm tired of watching us getting whipped. We are more than that. Like before we were whipped with chain. Like before we got brought over here by the boat, we lived a certain lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? But all they keep showing us was, we ain't worth the ground we walk on. So my whole thing with that is, well, what do we teach? What do we teach your children? And that's something that you, as a parent, you decide. But we're talking about this because, like I said, my son is 15, my daughter is 13, and I just happened to have the conversation with them. Like, I didn't know that they weren't teaching this in school because I personally don't remember where I learned it from. Yeah. I know all about it now. I just can't remember where it was first brought to me yet.
Well, we all saw Roots, so...
Well, I haven't seen Roots.
You never saw Roots?
I haven't seen Roots.
That's surprising.
You know what? Roots was probably on. I just didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I know my family. Yeah. Trust me, put it like this. I know it was on. And I don't really think I got my knowledge from it there, though. Yeah. But I got my knowledge from somewhere I just do not remember. But as parents we need to teach our kids about this because now they're going to grow up and not know where they come from, and that's like one of the worst things that could possibly happen.
I did learn about Jim Crow laws in school, and also not just black people or minorities. You need to be educated on civics, and the history of how we arrived here. I think that the white counterparts need to be educated on as well, because a lot of them don't even understand the full struggle of what actually took place. They just see, they've been listening to what media says these people are lazy, they're on welfare, there's this and this and this. So they don't know the full story. So that's all they've been ever fed. So you got to look at both ends of the spectrum. They've been brainwashed as well to look at you a certain way when they see you, because that's all they ever saw. They never lived by you. They don't know any different.
Did you see that meme of that girl who brought a project in and she said the benefits? Well, she basically was like slavery wasn't that bad. And she had a post of the benefits of slavery. Did you see that?
I ain't see it, man. But that's just because they don't know.
But they don't know. She actually had a project based on the cons and the goods and bad of slavery. Like there was actually something good out of it for blacks. Yeah. Blacks weren't treated that bad. Blacks that lived in the
that is still bad no matter what. When someone's owning you as property. That's pretty bad, man.
Bruh, men used to rape men. Yeah. White slave owners used to rape black men. Yeah. That's Romans. Wild. Yeah. For no reason at all. You see what I'm saying? Well,
just because they could.
Just because they could.
Privilege.
And it's just like, what crossed their mind to make them think that was the thing to do? I'm going to take this man, I'm going to take my Johnson and insert it in him, but they said that it was a way to basically take the biggest man on the campus and show him, and show you in front of your village you ain't nothing, I'm the man. Yeah. And these things need to be taught, but it's just like, in what order and how do you teach your children? Because like I say, some people might not want to just talk about the whips and chains, about what they did to us, how they raped.
I think even if they didn't even get to the most graphic points of it, you know what I mean? People can still get the gist if you give them the timeline. How long Jim Crow lasted in segregated schools, that was a long time. And I see so many like white people that aren't educated on the subject of what actually happened. The one guy I'm friends with on Facebook, he says, I said something about, I made a post about the Black Panthers one time. He says the Black Panthers were a terrorist group. They were racist and terrorists. I'm like, do you even realize that they advocated for poor whites as well? Like, this is stuff that people just don't know, so they've been programmed by the TV, and that's all they ever seen, so that's the only perception they'll ever have.
Right.
Unless they interact with these people, they say, man, this guy ain't so bad. You know what I mean? And there's fair-minded white people out there, too. People say, some people might say, oh, white people are bad, but I met some, fair-minded white people that do understand, like, what's going on,
Well, it's crazy because I think what they also need to know is we wouldn't be free if it wasn't for white people.
Yeah, they fought. Yeah,
like people like to credit it to certain black activists, but if it wasn't for white people standing with us,
especially when you're the minority, you need the majority. Someone to stand up and do the right thing.
You need somebody who don't look like you to stand next to you for it to actually generate with the people. Yeah. Before I forget, on topic, did you see what the Sixers did?
No,
the 76ers. There was a singer.
Oh, 7th Streeter.
Yeah, she wanted to sing the national anthem with "We Matter." It just said "We Matter."
Yeah, that's what I didn't get either.
Yeah, it just said "We Matter," and they told her that that she could not. They allegedly said that she signed a contract stating she couldn't have certain gear on where it spoke on certain things. I'm not going to don't quote me on that, but I know that allegedly they said she signed that. And they didn't allow her to. I don't think she sung. But now the Sixers are apologizing. They want to bring her back. But that was wild, though.
Who they had to sing the anthem instead?
I don't recall because I didn't hear about it until after the fact.
That was pretty wild. The Sir just said "We Matter." I was kind of surprised at that.
Yeah. Especially
switching the national anthem singer minutes before performance. That's kind of wild.
Right. Do you know how much preparation you got to go through to sing the national anthem? Like that's a nerve job on its own.
Did she accept the invite to come back?
I don't know. I got to look into that. Hopefully she did, and she wears her "We Matter" shirt.
Yeah.
And the Sixers were wrong because I think they got emails from players and other people who let them know, like, yo, like what are y'all doing? You see
Especially when you had the whole thing where the NBA players came out and finally made a semi-statement about what was that? LeBron,
Melo, CP,
and
yeah.
CP3.
Yeah, they got this new commercial out with cops playing basketball with the urban kids. All of that's cool and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would love for it, America like that, but that's not our reality.
No.
That's cool. D. Wade going back to Chicago, he said that he would definitely like to help the youth in Chicago, and that's cool. I do think that's dope. I don't know if I touched on this last week or not, but last week they had a special before the Orlando game on the 49 victims from the Orlando shooting.
Yeah.
At the
nightclub.
At the nightclub. And that's cool. But my whole thing is when 49 Chicago black kids die in a weekend, nobody bats an eye. You know, and that's just my whole thing. So to me that goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you got an organization behind you,
you definitely got a platform to speak, use it.
Yeah,
don't be afraid.
If Orlando didn't honor the 49 lives lost, nobody would have even thought about it. Because nobody was thinking about it. But they chose to do that. Mm-hmm. So for the 76ers to do what they did, you know, to me it's kind of like, wait a minute, y'all can honor the 49 lost in Orlando, which is cool. I'm all for that. Don't get it twisted. But at the end of the day, you know, what I'm saying is black people, we still look like the bottom of the earth. We still look like scum. Name any race you want in the world. Name any group. We will always come in last in everybody's eyes. You know, based on
it's just what the media portrays. You know, in America you have prominent black communities. How many have you ever seen on TV? Mm-hmm. Whenever they put us on TV, they gonna put the worst. Most of the time, they put the worst that they can find.
Right.
But we know better. We move in different circles. You know, so.
Yeah,
you can't go by what you see on media. Like that's what I'm saying. You gotta learn some stuff outside of what your traditional schooling and what you see in the media, because if you're not having personal interaction with people, you can't get a true judgment of character. You know,
that's a fact.
You got to really interact with people to get a true judgment of the person's character, no matter what they look like. But I think the media helps to to paint these type of these descriptions of minorities, always showing them in their worst state. You know. If we're going to change things, we got to promote some positive to our youth to show them, there is a way, and we could do it.
And for the parents, this message is basically based on teach your children about slavery whenever you see fit. You know, don't wait too late. Sometimes, it's no such thing as too late, but, don't wait so long, and teach them whichever part you want to teach them about. It's 3 parts. It ain't just about the whips and chains. Yeah. It's about before, it's about then, and it's about after. Let them know why they're actually here. A lot of black kids don't know that they're living in poverty. Like, they don't know. Like, I do Uber, and I take people all over the place. Do you know that I still get, like, my eyes still get big to actually go to these communities where they have these big homes and all this grass and all these kids playing? I'm like, dog, I never seen none of this coming up.
Yeah.
I didn't even know my fault. I didn't even know none of this even existed. None of the kids know that green grass, playing together, living next to each other, big homes exist.
That's why I think you get a lot of the bias from, because you can't, like, just like you said and said, you can't understand, like, you never seen anything like these big homes coming up, so you don't really fully grasp or understand it. A lot of those people that live in those types of homes and those type of communities, they never experience poverty.
Never.
You know what I mean? And they see as though those people just don't work hard enough.
Right.
But some of the poor people, some of the hardest working people I know, man, this cat's out here working 2-3 jobs, just to keep it afloat. I used to work 2 jobs myself, so I know what it's like, But it's just 2 different ends of the spectrum, and I try to tackle social issues with an open mind, trying to consider in both sides. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I used to be more biased towards just thinking of the situation I'm in. But as I got older, I learned to expand my thinking to think things through from all perspectives. You know what I mean? All standpoints, not just yours, and helps you get a little bit better understanding.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like I said, teach your kids about this, because nobody else will. We cannot afford to not know about this. We cannot afford to not know. I don't care if it's the next century. We can't afford not to teach our children. So I want my children, when they have children, you got to teach yours. And then it has to keep going. We can never forget this. And I think that's what America wants. They want to basically wipe it clean. And we just can't. So that's our responsibility. And that's the thing. A lot of us are working 2 jobs. A lot of us is out working 3 jobs, working 16-hour shifts. And sometimes, like I say, slavery is just not on your mind. It's not something to think about, but it's something we can't forget about. We got to keep teaching our kids, man.
Yeah, it's just America likes to bury the hard truths.
They do.
But it goes along with being a country. Like, you make mistakes, you learn from them, Don't make laws that further oppression and increase poverty, because that's what happened after slavery. I think a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people who don't know. They just think once the chains came off, it was over.
Right.
And now you see a lot of people out here walking around with mental chains. It's not even physical chains; it's the mental ones.
Gems.
That's destroying.
It ain't the physical chains; it's the mental chains. Damn.
They need to see greatness and know they could be great. Everyone's born to be great. It's up to you. You know what I mean? Or find a way to bring that out of you.
That's deep right there, man. So we definitely.
I always say one thing, man. Everybody not gonna have a storybook life, but you can have a storybook ending straight up.
Woo! What's better than the ending, huh?
As long as
what's
it's
better
good,
than
man.
going out with a blaze?
Yeah, especially when you started from the bottom, man. It's the best feeling in the world.
Facts, straight like that. Now, the intro to this show, we had celebrities, rappers. Priests, we had, regular street people talking about blacks for Trump. It's real out there. I've never seen blacks for anything. I don't, it's crazy to actually, if you think about it. But here's my question. And like I said, I told somebody this in Uber, and I might want to trademark this. Behind every stupid conversation is a gem in there somewhere. Somewhere there's a gem in every stupid conversation. So here's my question to you, Joe. Are black people finally done with the promises of the Democratic Party every 4 years about what they're going to do for the African Americans, a.k.a. black? Some people don't like being called African Americans.
To me, I don't think it got anything to do with the Democratic or Republican candidates, because either candidate that gets in there, they come to our communities when they want votes, and that's mostly the only time you see them. And I think we got to start voting more on the issue than voting, for particular parties. It's a few people that represent our community that do a great job. Bonnie Watson, Shirley Turner, people like that. But you take a look at our city, we got a whole Democratic,
right,
government.
Right.
And what's different?
Nothing.
What's different? So we get caught up in these presidential elections when really our local elections are more important, because this is the stuff that touches close to home. This is where the funding is coming from. So I think we need to vote, for whoever's talking about the issues that concern you the most. Because a lot of times they'll come down here, they'll give people in the community a bunch of free stuff, and we don't even talk to them about what we want.
Right.
Or tell them, the issues. Don't settle for the head nods. Don't thank them and shake their hands and take pictures with them until they actually done something. I think I had made a post about it. I think we've been beat down for so long and neglected, here in this community, is that as soon as something comes, we just hop on it.
Right.
Without even considering the longevity of it, nor the pros or cons. You know what I mean? Or the impact it have on your community.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something we need to look at.
Definitely.
But I think a lot of the poor communities are frustrated as a whole with voting. Because you hear people saying, I ain't going to vote.
Right.
You know what I mean? No, I don't agree. I think both of these people that's running for president don't have the general will to do good by the people, to be honest. You know what I mean? They're more about themselves than anybody. But that's not going to stop them from voting, because, I know the history behind that. I know what people went through just to go in and be able to cast a ballot.
Right.
And people don't know. You don't have to vote for them if you don't want to. It's other candidates running as well.
It's
so
4 presidential candidates, man.
And many people don't know that. So then, even if you're frustrated, whatever, you just cast your vote, man, because people went through a lot just to be able, just for you to go in there and have the opportunity.
But why don't they put them other 4 on a debate? Like they make it seem like it's only 2.
Well, what the rules is you got to be polling. You have to be polling a certain percentage to be able to make the stage.
That's not.
If you remember the Republicans, man, they had about 16 people running for president. So most of those people you never saw on stage, or they had like a little secondary stage. They put the people who are polling a little lower.
Yeah. That's definitely crazy. Because I asked myself this question one time. Why am I a Democrat if I am one? I don't know why I'm one. You feel what I'm saying? It's like that's just what I was told. I don't know if anybody told me that I was, or they might have said, well, Democrats are for the poor. Yeah. And I think that was what was told to me. I don't know who told me, but all of a sudden I know that I'm a Democrat. So I'm voting Democrat based on the Democrats are always talking about what they can do for the urban communities. But with some things that Donald Trump says is correct. Mm-hmm. Every 4 years, Democrats get up here and they talk about what they want to do for African Americans, aka blacks, and they never do it. Right. But I also read up on, like, I think Barack Obama has done something like a bunch of things for the Latinos. Why? Because they actually got together and put some money into his election. Right. What blacks don't understand, what we need to do is we actually need to financially contribute to elections. I don't think we do. We're just the ones sitting around saying, hey, yo, what y'all going to do for us if you want my vote? And then they spew lies at us. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And it never happens.
Yeah, it's a lot of empty promises. I tell people, I say now recently, I'm saying, listen, don't just read the headlines. Read the article. Because people will sit there and read, we're going to do this and do that, and never really check into their history. You know, each one, you can go on, if you vote for a legislator, you can go right to the state website and look that legislator up and see how they voted on every single issue that they voted on, you know? Right. And if it wasn't in your interest, you don't have to vote for that person.
It's crazy because, I lost my train of thought.
I think one of the issues, too, maybe be the literacy issues that we have, you know what I mean? So people read things. I mean, it's not that I'm not saying that people can't literally read. It's just that they
don't want to. They have attention span,
or they don't comprehend what they read.
If that too,
so I think that's one of the.
You're not comprehending what you're reading, or you'll look to see how long it is, and you'll be like, "I'm not reading this." Yeah, that's that. Now, my whole thing, like I remember when Barack Obama ran against McCain. I love the fact that a black man was running for president, but I was also looking for McCain to win me over. Like, I wasn't on something, I'm a Democrat, I'm going to just vote for the black man. I was not on that. Yeah, okay, McCain, say something to me that I think that I'm going to register with, and I don't think he ever did. What's his other name? Romney? Him too. It's like, okay, tell me something. Right. Because I ain't one of them people that's just on some, listen, that's a black man run, I'm going to vote for that black man. Oh, they're Democrats. I'm going to vote for this Democrat. Because at the end of the day, ask yourself, why are you even a Democrat? You don't even know. You don't even know. There was some documentary posted on that the Democrats are more racist than the Republicans, but it was directed by the person that did like a horror movie, so I didn't click on it. That don't even make sense.
Way back when the parties, they had flipped roles. You know, the Republicans were like the Democrats, and the Democrats were like the Republicans.
And then JFK came, right? Was it JFK?
I'm not actually sure when it flipped over. Okay. But I know.
I think JFK was a Democrat, and he had, favor for certain types of people, and I think that's when we actually black people became quote unquote Democrats. But once again, we don't know. At the end of the day, both parties are racist. Yeah, both parties don't care about nothing that you do. No, you just have to.
They just want the votes.
They just want the votes. And the thing is, the difference between both parties, and this is what I think. The Republicans tell you how it is.
Yeah, I think
the Republicans are honest people.
They definitely favor the rich.
They favor the rich, but they tell you how it is. Yeah. Like everything Trump said is what people think. Keep it 100. Yeah. What Hillary says is, it's the fantasy world of what.
A little fluff.
Yeah, it's like this is how we want this country to go. But we know both parties are lying, but we know Trump has just a little bit of, he's actually being real. There's actually rednecks out there that still want stop and frisk. There's actually racist,
Trump and his running partner. They both want it.
They both want stop and frisk.
But I don't think they have a true grasp of how that impacts the community and how that impacts the relationship that the community has with the police. Mm-hmm. It's going to create tensions. There's already tension there. Why do that? You're just allowing some people who do the job already from a biased perspective to just go out there and do whatever they want with no repercussions. Right. Violating people's rights, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the thing about it is, when they were doing New York, the amount of paraphernalia and guns didn't go up very much. It was like 0.6% or something. After all these people you stopped. So basically, it led to a lot of people being disgruntled because they'd be walk home from work and they're just being stopped for no reason.
Just it was all black people.
Minorities, poor minorities, and just because they look a certain way. That's not democracy to me. That's communism.
Bruh, do you know what it'd be like if we actually stopped these white boys? They'd have a fit. This stop and frisk would never exist.
They would band together and they would just stop it out.
If you just stop them, because basically...
But sadly, many of the voices from the poor community is drowned out.
The black kids who sag their pants got the crack. But the white boys who wear the suits got the cocaine. It's like you can stop whoever and you'll find something.
Exactly.
But you put cocaine in the white neighborhoods and you give them slaps on the wrist. You put crack in the hoods and you lock people up for it. You can stop any man or woman on this planet. I'm pretty sure you'll find something on them. They just chose to only stop the minorities.
That's what I said. If you want to implement stop and frisk, why not make it across the board?
That's the only way stop and frisk would actually work. Because guess who would go to jail?
Well, it worked exactly how they wanted it to work.
So Donald Trump can talk about how he stop and frisk. Because at the end of the day, let's say they never stopped black people, and you take stop and frisk, and you're like, okay, maybe this is a good idea if you did it the right way.
Right.
If you did it the right way, you could take so many people, so many CEOs.
I think it's just a lazy form of policing. If you want to catch people that are doing wrong, do your due diligence. You know what I mean? Investigate. Don't just go out there. It's like netting a bunch of fish. Like you're looking for a certain type of fish, right? You see this used school that swims by, another type of fish, but you just got to that whole group of fish because you're gonna catch some of the fish you're actually looking for.
Yeah,
so we'll take those fish that we want, and other ones we'll just throw back.
That's a fact.
That's not a very efficient way of doing things.
Blacks for Trump, man. That's I just think that's crazy.
But let me just say this though. If we truly believe in democracy, we wanted things to be fair across the board. People are free to vote however they see fit. You know what I mean? They may want to vote for Trump for whatever their particular reasons are. One of the reasons why I would not vote for him is simply because of the stop and frisk things. Not to say that he hasn't brought up some valid points, you know what I mean? No one wants a person.
He has brought up some great points
to be as uncouth as he is to be running an office because he's literally a danger because you never know what he's going to fucking do. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't want somebody like that in control of a goddamn country. You know what I mean? That
he wake up 3 a.m. just pissed off at nothing. I'm going to start a war.
But if we believe in democracy and we believe for our ability to vote, we want to. Everyone should have the same right to vote for whoever you want to. Whatever your reason is, that's part of being in a democracy. So we can't be mad about that.
Did you see Joe Walsh? I think that's his name. He said he's going to grab the musket if Trump don't win. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's just crazy, man. Some people just itching for certain things. Like I said, they've never been educated on the history of how things went, so they got this perceived notion in their head. But you know what? You see each generation gets better. Like this generation's been a little bit better. The next one will get better. I'm not saying from a governmental standpoint,
right?
Because you got the same lawmakers up there because they don't have terms. Which Trump did mention they should have terms, which was a good point by him. I mean, but from a human standpoint, I think people do treat people better than what they used to. You know what I mean?
Right.
But from a governmental standpoint, like I said, they keep. They give you this illusion of freedom, which is worse. You know what I mean? To me, you know what I mean?
I think. I lost my train of thought, dog. I done had too many shots. I done had too much Ciroc. Blacks for Trump. I'm trying to find my train of thought. I done lost it. But Trump has made some good points, but he's made so many dumb points.
Yeah.
Like that time where he was at this show and white people was actually punching, like they was actually hitting black women.
Yeah.
And he was just like, back in the day,
yeah,
they would have been blah, blah, blah. It's like, you've said so many dumb things. It's like Trump, like just maybe.
So many wrong things that's not conducive to moving the country
so
forward.
many wrong things. Like you've said some good things, but you said so many dumb things that it's hard to look at the good things that you've said.
Yeah.
It's like, Trump, I can never vote for you because of the dumbness that you display. It's like you've dropped some gems. You have. Hillary have been in the Congress. She hasn't had to
done much at all. Just pretty
and
much
she has never done anything.
He hurts himself.
But at the same time, you shoot yourself in the foot.
Every time.
Every time. And then I'll be sitting at the the debates, and I'll be like, all right, Trump, say something. And he has his debate is a repeat of what he says. You know, he'll say like, you know, Hillary's a bad person. I'm a good person. Vote for me.
Like we want to hear some more points on what you're actually
hear
doing.
What you're going to do, but yet you steady talking about
want to hear some plans, some policies, man, how you plan on moving the country forward. If he were to focus on that, you know what I mean, I think people would have been more willing to listen to him instead of just trying to, like, what he pretty much did, bully his way through. Because once you become a world leader, that's not going to work, you know. You can't just get pissed off every time someone says something you don't like. You gotta work. The way it works is you gotta work with the enemies. You know what I mean? Yeah. You want to keep them close because you want to know what they're doing over there.
He's not going to work with nobody. If Trump becomes president, we might as well all just get ready to put on our boots, put on our helmets, and grab our
these
guns.
Emails that Hillary had came out this week. The thing they're talking about doesn't help at all.
They said that the Clintons are I can't remember what they said, but they said that the Clintons ain't no good. Like, this is just what they're saying. So, like I said,
they definitely made bad policy in the past that has dramatically
3 strikes
affected
and you out, like Bill Clinton. And then Bill Clinton, they got Bill Clinton. I'm watching this commercial. They got him talking bad about Obamacare. It's like you got Michelle Obama shimmying. She was shimmying. If you can't see me, I'm shimmying. They got Michelle Obama shimmying with Hillary Clinton. Like in there, and you got Barack Obama supporting Hillary Clinton, but you got Bill Clinton. You got Bill Clinton talking about how bad Obamacare is. It's like, dogs, you gotta shut your mouth.
Yeah, they said the premiums were rising, man.
I personally don't know. I don't have Obamacare. But at the same time, what he tried to do was good. But when you got Congress stopping everything that you're trying to do, you know what I'm saying? It's like they started out.
That's how Trump was born.
Huh?
That's how Trump was born, man. They didn't focus on developing a candidate. And instead they focused 8 years on trying to, like, vote anything down that Obama tried to push forward.
But
even with something simple, a simple law, a simple bill that everyone could see that was obviously good for all people, they delayed that just because out of spite, man.
Right.
And that's the thing with this red and blue, Republicans, Democrats. No matter what your party is, you should be doing the best. You're a public official. You're elected to serve the people. You should be doing the best you can to make their lives better. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
You shouldn't be sitting there fighting each other because, like, you think about that type of thing, man. That's seen on a national scale. So if you got these politicians who are supposed to be these Harvard, Yale, these big name school educated people acting like children, what do you expect from these grade school kids? You know what I'm saying? You watch it, they fight. It's ridiculous, man.
Gems.
It's ridiculous, man. People, they need to get back to doing what they supposed to do for the people, man. And we, you know what? And we got to do a better job of holding them accountable because we don't do enough of that.
How can we? Because they don't have a term.
We all got to band together. But the lawmakers definitely, we need to do something to get term limits, man, because it's ridiculous for people to be up there. You know, you got baby boomers who are clearly some of them racist.
70, 80-year-old.
It's just the area they came. This is the area they came from. So it goes back to understanding things from both ends of the spectrum. That's all they ever know. So that's what they're gonna stick to.
That's a fact.
Flat out. You know what I mean?
Word.
So if we get like younger people with younger blood that can see like from different generations, who can see how the country has changed, we can make laws accordingly, not just on the old-fashioned way where we're just slamming people in jail or making dumbass laws that's not helping the country move forward.
Straight like that. And Hillary and Bill, they were for the 3 strikes and you're out. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
But something that somebody told me once was when they give a black man something, they always give a woman something. And if they let a black man be president, they'll let a woman be president, regardless if she's fit for it or not. Trump, far as what we know, he just wants a TV deal. I don't think he's running for president. How can you run for president and you've disrespected everybody in this country?
Well, it's working for him.
No
matter what, I think he's going to get huge financial gain after this, man. Whether if he starts his own TV station or whatever he does.
Did you see what his son said? His son said this is being president of the United States is a step down. His son said being president of the United States is like, taking a back seat.
He's an egotistical maniac, man. That's what I ever known. They're just super privileged, man. They've been able to do whatever they want. So, of course, they're going to think they're the best at everything.
But is
man.
it, though?
The presidency is a very serious job,
because
man.
when you're president, you got to, like...
It's not something you take lightly.
You got to be monitored.
A step down.
But when you just rich, you can say and do whatever you want.
Yeah, you're on your own. But
when you're
boss,
president,
no one's holding you accountable.
Yo, Donald, I don't think we can approve this message. Donald, the Don.
Yeah.
What if he wants to be called the Don? Hey, Don, listen, Don.
You're already having issues right now, man, with him. Like he go up there on stage, he don't do what they tell him to do. He does his own thing.
Right, like it's like I would honestly.
But if he's able to pull that shit off, that would be like one of the biggest hustles in American history. This man hustles his way to the presidency. There's no other way to look at it, man.
Yo, they got Hillary winning on all the polls, but if Donald Trump won, I would laugh, and I would definitely love to see what would happen.
But even if he loses, he'll have some type of thing to keep his followers, and he'll just make money. Or he'll find a way. He's a capitalist, so he'll find a way to make amends with the loss.
What if Donald Trump won, right, and Kanye West ran in 2020? Would this be the wackiest?
I know one thing. I won't vote for Kanye West either. Kanye West, no way.
So you said you'll vote for Trump if Kanye West ran in 2020? That's crazy.
I wouldn't vote for neither one of them. But definitely Kanye West. Everybody can see he's not qualified to be president, man.
I remember when...
let's just be serious.
I remember when you ran for president, you had to be a certain type of person, respected. I just think that we just turned the presidency into a circus show. This is like just a circus show, man.
That can happen when you got 16 candidates trying to run for president at one time, which is ridiculous.
Right. Our governor, right, Chris Christie, you think he's going to do jail time? If you don't know, our governor who ran for president, and I think was one of the first people eliminated because he's trash, the Bridgegate, a female came out and on trial, under oath, stated that he knew all about what was going on based off because if you weren't supporting him, he was shutting down.
Don't forget the part about him throwing a water bottle at him. Throwing
her.
a water bottle
he threw a water bottle at her. Yes, he did.
And asked her, "What am I, a fucking game show host?" I said, "Wow."
Our governor is trash.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you that our governor is trash. I don't know how he got in office. We are like a Democratic state. Somehow a Republican got in office. I don't know how that happened, but it got in.
People were just tired of Corzine, and state workers felt like he was going to take days from him, so they voted for Christie, who promised not to test the pensions in the courts as soon as he got in there. That's what he did.
It's exactly what
Teachers
he did.
Unions will reach concessions.
But this is basically what we're talking about. Once again,
broken promises.
We as black people, we are not Democrats and we're not Republicans. We need to remind ourselves that we're not loyal to none of these parties because they don't do nothing for us. But we are a Democratic state. I think New Jersey always votes Democrat when it comes to president, I think. Don't quote me on that. But when it came to governor, we elected a Republican governor who's Chris Christie. And didn't somebody die on that bridge, right?
I think someone did.
I think somebody died. He closed the bridges based on because certain people wouldn't support him. So he closed the bridge and somebody died.
I think it was the mayor of Fort Lee.
I think so. Somebody died. Now, keep in mind, people, this man was running for president. Now, if you think Trump is a joke, can you imagine Chris Christie running for president, yet he's in jeopardy of doing 10 years, I think? I think it's 10 years.
They're both on the same team. I think Trump has promised him some type of position if he's elected. Not to mention, Trump owed Jersey, $25 million? His good old friend Chris to sell that thing for $5 million.
Wow.
And the state's already low on funds for the transportation funds, amongst others. So you would think he would want to recoup all that money, but nah, that's what happens, man.
But
big business rules in Jersey?
What's worse, having Trump running as president or Chris Christie, who might be doing 10 years? Everybody's tripping on Hillary Clinton's emails, but y'all almost had a presidential candidate who's about to do 10 years. thanks to New Jersey, because we voted him in.
Yeah, I think before you maybe had a stronger chance of actually winning the Republican nomination, but once Bridgegate came out, that really gave him a big black eye, and I think that was one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons. Yeah, he definitely was, but you see all these governors on TV that's running for president. You if you don't live in their state, you're not familiar with what the stuff they're done unless you go read up on it.
That's a fact.
So, like, we live in Jersey, we know the miserable conditions that Christie's administration has contributed to, but man, many people around the country may not know.
That's a fact.
And a lot of people like the conservative hard stance on many things. So him and Trump are pretty much like one and the same.
And that's what we're here for, to let you know that Christie is trash.
Some people always got an appetite. For each candidate that's running, they get some votes. Someone has an appetite for what they're offering. Straight up.
Okay, off that, like we said, whoever you're going to vote for, first off, I am definitely nice off his Ciroc time.
No matter what, just vote, people.
Just vote. But like I said, just remember, you're not a Democrat, you're not a Republican. Vote for whoever you feel like it. Whoever you feel as though is going to best represent you.
Right.
I want to get into this last topic, and it's called Started from the Bottom. Started from the bottom. I thought about this during the middle of the week, and basically where I'm coming from is like this. There's so many people who've had to sleep in their cars, who've had to sacrifice everything, including family, to make it to the top. I think Steve Harvey has slept in his car. He was homeless. What's his name? Medea. What's the deal?
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry, homeless. Bill Gates on the verge of losing his family. My question to you is, how far are you willing to go to basically become somebody in this world? If you're somebody who's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, maybe you need both feet out. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like the numbers based on people who basically have nothing. Like, look at the people who've come home from jail and become millionaires. People who've basically sacrificed their lives. And I think every topic we've talked about basically comes to this one, even with the 50 Cent thing. He can't be there all the time because he's out making millions. I can't be there for you, son. It's a sacrifice you have to make. Who's willing to make that sacrifice to basically be as great as you can be? Joe, would you leave? Because I know you have a son. But would you leave your son behind in order to be as great as you could possibly be? Because you got to think about it. Think about if okay, well, I can't go out and do what I got to do because I got to go home to my son.
Yeah.
That's actually the conversation that happens. Like, yo, I can't go do this extra. I can't go put this extra work in because I got to go home to my son. There's so many men that leave their family behind because they believe in their craft.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have like a lot of people who believe in their crafts. Once they're able, to bring in enough income to really travel with the family, they take the families with them.
Right.
It's people that really, take the family with them. Some of these guys in the NFL, man, they get traded to different teams. Guess what? Family coming to stay with them.
Yeah.
Kevin Gates said he always take his kid with him when he go on tour. So it's a tough balance. I think in the beginning, when you're really trying to get on, I think that would be the toughest part, to get the amount of time that you want to spend with family. But you got to look at it this way too. Like, you trying to make a bright future for that for the kid. I mean, I think every parent, of sound mind wants to make a better life for their children than what they had. You know what I mean?
Right.
And don't get me wrong. There are some people who are selfish, and no matter what, you know what I mean, they're choosing their career. And like, if you spending time in the clubs, you know what I mean, when that could be a time you could be with your kid, that's something different.
Right.
If you had to be in the club performing, that's something different. You know what I mean? But people will find time for what they want. You know what I mean? Find time for.
That's a fact. I just been reading so many articles, and I'd be like, yo, what am I doing wrong? Because it'd be like, okay, this dude fresh out of jail, he's a millionaire, he wrote a book,
or
he's
thing
doing
about
Vine
it is,
videos.
During his incarceration, he had plenty of time to sit, think, and plan.
Right.
Many people want to get paid, but they just rush into things without sitting, thinking, and planning.
Right.
The planning process is a long time. You go to a building, the building can go up pretty quickly compared to the time it took to create the building, to plan it out. You know what I mean? To make sure everything will work. You know what I mean? So if you take your time and you do all that planning, then you got a solid foundation. If you rush it, you know what I mean, your foundation could be weak. Even though you building and making money, it could crumble in any moment. You know what I mean? I would say start with that. Always make a plan. You know what I mean? Start with something that's solid, and not to say that the plan that you start with is going to be the one you finish with. You know what I mean? But it's all part of the process, all part of the grind.
Yeah, because it's crazy. Because I'm sitting here thinking, like, even with the 50 Cent thing we talked about. Even with everything that I think most of everything we talked about on this episode is based on, listen, I can't spend the time with you that I want to spend the time with, but I'm out making millions so you can have a better life.
Yeah.
I don't think that a lot of people know that that's a sacrifice that we need to make out here. It's like, okay, I got 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. Yeah. Maybe I need to take both feet out, and I need to listen. Your mother's not going to understand. Maybe you're not going to understand. But I'm out here making millions, and you sitting here graduating from good schools, possibly going to college. But guess who's not around? The man, the father. And it leads to arguments. It leads to beefs.
I think the arguments coming into play was like, all right, it's an understanding issue, right? So what are you doing in your time where you're not making these millions? Mm-hmm. Now, if it's times where you can spend time with the family or the child and you out there just partying, you know what I mean, not seeing them for extended periods of the time, then I think that's where more of an issue comes in at. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, we all understand when you got to do what you got to do. There's been times you had to work 16-hour shifts, whatever you had to do. But it's about when you're not doing that, what is your time? What do your activities consist of? What are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, if you out there doing something that nothing to do with making your millions, it's you chose to do that over hanging with your kid or whatever. You know what I mean? I think that makes all the difference. Like I said, I don't think a lot of these kids wouldn't even. It's not the money aspect of it. You know what I mean? It's more of just the spiritual aspect of it, the father being around to guide the child, any parent, not just fathers, whatever. I think that's more relevant.
I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I just wanted to put that message out to the people that sometimes, but like, put it like this. And it's not just about being financially successful, being a major superstar. If you are, let's say you're a female, right, and you're living and you have an abusive relationship where you're unhappy and you claim you have nowhere to go, guess what? Go sleep on such and such's couch, you and your children, until you're able to come up and get your own home. Depending on like go do that. If you have an idea, or you have like Bill Gates, he invented the iPhone allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly.
He probably had some help.
Right, sure. But in the process of doing that, his wife felt alone.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you don't spend
that's
no
another element to success.
Right. That's basically what I mean by start from the bottom. It's like, yo, the woman that you married is going to complain 1,000% about you not spending time with her.
See, the thing is, though, you got to be with somebody that's going to understand your grind. You know what I mean? That's why I made it a point to make. I made it a point to say, when you're outside of that, making the millions, what are you doing with your time?
That's a fact.
That says a lot. Now, if a person going to sit there and complain about you going hard, trying to make a better way for yourself, then she might not be the one for you.
But then you got the 50 Cents of the world, where you make it big and then they leave you. So, like I said, a lot of stuff that we talked about during this episode is basically based on started from the bottom. And at the end of the day, if you have a family and you're trying your best to follow your dreams, eventually you're going to have to piss some people off. And those people might be your children, it might be your wife, it might be your girlfriend. But to follow your dreams, once again, to repeat myself, you're going to have to piss some people off. A lot of people just don't want to do that. Steve Harvey, I think, slept in his car. Tyler Perry slept in his car. There's so many stories of people who are on the verge of losing it all, only to now be worth 300 million, 400 million, 500 million. You see what I'm saying?
That's life. That's why you never give up, right?
Right. But as a man, and even as a woman, I've heard many feminist stories about this, but as a man, sometimes you have to leave your nest from where you are to go be as great as you are, to be as great as you can be. You know, I just thought that was crazy when I thought about it. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, man, these dudes was on the verge of losing it all. Creditors coming for them, eviction notices. I think Kanye West had an eviction notice on his door or something like that. Then he became the infamous Kanye West. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, when you chasing your dreams, don't be afraid to lose it all.
Nah.
Even your family.
Can't afford those distractions.
So
sometimes the opportunity only knock once, man. When you got opportunity, man, you got to decide at that point in life what's most important, man. Straight up. You always strive to better yourself. And the people who really care about you want to be around you, they going to understand that.
And it's going to be crazy because there's going to be a lot of people who tell you ain't shit.
Oh, yeah. But that's
they're going to tell you that.
Though.
They're going to tell you that. You feel what I'm saying? Like I said, no matter what we talked about in this episode is based on sacrifices being made. Whether you're the man and your son doesn't respect you because he doesn't understand the grind you're actually putting in for him, or whether it's the female, your wife, who doesn't understand, listen, I can't take you out tonight, and maybe this project is frustrating me and I can't hold you as tight as I used to. When we first met, we had a great time. But you know what? This project that I'm working on is stressing me out so bad. And I ain't got the energy to take you out like I used to. Show you off like I used to. You know what I'm saying? So as a man and even as a female.
Sometimes it's convenient to find yourself another working professional. That way it works.
Right.
Choose wisely. For real. For real. Yeah. Know where you want to be and choose accordingly, man, because it's going to be a lot of pieces. Like, life's like a big puzzle, man. You just got to put the pieces together, you know what I mean? And sometimes you might pick up the wrong piece, try to fit it, don't fit. Eventually you find the right piece and everything goes.
Yo, this was a dope episode. Splashed. I didn't have so
definitely
much
grateful to be here, man.
You
boys doing y'all thing, man.
I'm
real.
Thankful that you came. Fresco couldn't make it. He's out of
man.
town.
I was disappointed, man, because he have it live, man. I was looking forward to him.
I got you. He's the funny one. I got you.
Yeah.
But you can always come back.
Okay.
You can always come back. I appreciate you coming through. Yeah. We are the Podcast Brothers. This is episode 21.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate everybody that's come through. Yeah. Hopefully there's some gems in here.
I'm just really interested to see the feedback that we get on some of the topics.
Right. Listen,
definitely.
Right, yo, we are a conversation podcast. Yeah. Our job is to make you talk. Our job is to make you think.
Start the conversation.
We can be funny from time to time, but more importantly is the conversation part. Talk about it. Did I say something that pissed you off? Tell me about it. Did Joe say something you ain't like? Tell us about it. Did we say something that you agree with? Tell us about it. I don't care. We are a conversation podcast, and that's what we do. Please subscribe to the Podcast Brothers on iTunes, on Google Play. If you don't fuck with none of those, go to SoundCloud.
Yeah.
SoundCloud is always there. iTunes, Google Play, that's what we do. Podcast Brothers, episode 21. This was a goodie. Salute to Joe for coming through. Believe me, he will be back for another one. Fresco will be there for that one. You feel what I'm saying? And Fresco will be here next week. We are like I said, we're the Podcast Brothers. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Peace out.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fresco, one half for the Podcast Brothers. If you like everything you heard in this episode, you can go to our iTunes page by searching the Podcast Brothers and subscribing to our page and getting all the links sent straight to your phone. You can also get in touch with us on our Twitter page, Podcast Brothers, and you can also email us at mybromepodcast@gmail.com to talk to us personally and get all the information